Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing.
Oh, hey folks, Dude here, coming in again, another edition of Dude After Dark. This one, of course, being a somewhat somber occasion because, well, I don't know. Feels like just that time. I should probably just leap right into it, just kind of do, the daily news and review and what have you. But I do wish to be just a little bit introspective on some things. Upcoming election. I think obviously it's going to be taking place on the 8th, which means it's going to be on my next show date. That's going to preempt me, okay? I want every single able-bodied person to unass whatever seating apparatus they happen to be placing themselves upon, go out and vote your conscience, and try to fix things as it were right now, which we're currently dealing with. All the mess that we have been brought about to this current level of suck by all the incumbents, all the do-nothings, and all those people on whatever side of the aisle that they're on, because I'm actually a constitutional conservative, but I have very, very hugely strong libertarian leanings, like exclusively libertarian leanings. And if both parties are at fault, I'm going to call it for what it is. But, if it's mostly the Democrats, I'm going to say it's mostly the Democrats. If the Republicans don't want to unass things and do their blanking jobs, it's on them as well. So if they really truly choose not to do their fakaka duty jobs, they really just need to do it, okay? Because we are all sick of the massive amounts of Washington, D.C. based. Okay, I'll allow it, sound guy, but don't get carried away. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, unass the couches, unass the vehicle which you're traveling in, hit your polling place, and vote accordingly. Martinez Sasquatch, Squatch checking in, be doing my part to vote out on the given nuisance. Yeah, the given nuisance. Oh, man. You want to talk about somebody that needs to be put out on his ass? That's Gavin. Just give me one second here. Can't waste warm, ready to be consumed Tigger juice. All right, so anyway, let me leap right into the fray here. And this is actually a not so somber an occasion, but I actually am unlocked on Facebook yet again. 3 months in a row, literally every single month. I would do something and bam, I'd get, within a week of getting out of the previous 30-day, I'd get another 30-day. So it was pretty much just the people at Facebook. Okay, well, they kind of are, but, you really can't say that they are that, sound guy. You really have to call them something different. What could you call the guys over in Facebook?
I'm juggling.
Yeah, they could be, peacock juggling thunder meows. Yeah, you really could say that about them because, well, they are, yeah, just, I hope somebody, maybe a group of somebody's along the lines of, like, in the wealth level of, like, Elon Musk buy Facebook out from underneath Schmuckerberg and pretty much just, take it over. Okay, that's really truly what needs to have happen, because it needs to be flipped over to another realm of leadership.
I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
The HAL 9000. No. I'm sure you could do that, okay? Anyway, looking at things as it is, those people, okay, those people need to be taken out of power, or they need to be removed from office because they've done nothing certifiably good and they are not part of the ongoing excellence of the United States becoming better than its former self. Okay, so looking at things as it is, we're now looking at a story This one coming from PatriotJournal.com. The Republicans finally maybe are showing off that they have a set of nuts. Maybe. I'm not counting on it. Martinez Sasquatch, oh, this is my time in the hole. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the cooler king. I got to tell you that for dang sure. But this one coming in from, like I said, PatriotJournal.com. Republicans serve President Biden with a fresh ultimatum. The president must meet the budget deadline or else. Well, considering they're not in the minority, I'm sorry, they're not in the majority, they're still in the minority, the Democrats pretty much could roll right over them in that regard. But it also is not easier to get everybody in lockstep in the House. It just doesn't happen as easy, okay? It just doesn't happen as easy. Mostly because, well, you got to remember you're trying to herd cats in the Congress. Senate, they're pretty much, they're like barons. In the Congress, they're a little more afraid of their jobs because it flips over more frequently. But anyway, millions of Americans' number one issue undoubtedly is the economy. Some say we're on the brink of a major recession. No squat. Other experts claim we're not in a recession yet, but it's definitely coming. Yeah. Recent reports have painted bleak pictures of the holidays with average cost of goods and services rising at an alarming rate. Yeah, because it's called bad leadership from top on down. Nobody has confidence. Hello. At times like this, the U.S. budget plays a central role in the argument. Increased government spending and other economic issues have a direct impact on the budget, and the company is paying attention. Now, Republican leaders are demanding President Biden hit a critical deadline. If he doesn't, they're prepared to act. Wait, you know what? I think it's really charitable to say, yes, it's nice they're doing something, but it is beyond measure way too fakaka-duty late at this point, because these guys in Congress should have been king fixing it years ago. They had the opportunity. They were in charge, and they could have locked stuff in, but no, they continue to do continuing resolutions rather than an actual fakaka-duty budget. Ugh. Led by Georgia Rep. Buddy Carter, don't know him at all, 2 bills have been introduced, and they outline possible punishments if Biden doesn't move quickly. This is a strong move that might prompt POTUS into action. Via the Daily Caller, a group of House Republicans led by Georgia Representative Buddy Carter introduced 2 pieces of legislation Tuesday to enforce the executive branch's budget deadlines by restricting pay and travel. The president is unable to meet budget deadlines. Okay, so basically what it is they're pretty much telling the president, if you aren't going to fix things, we're just going to basically pull your tickets, and you're going to basically not have the cash to do stuff. Just give me a second here. And this is one of those things I really, truly hate when they get dipstick about these. We're going to call these bills something cute, so it really means something. So the first bill is called the Presidential Accountability for Yearly Submission of United States Budget, or the Pay Stub Act. Remember that previous thing I was saying about doing stuff to make it look cute? Yeah, would withhold all politicians' salaries until the budget has been submitted. You get somebody like Pelosi who's worth a couple $100 million. It's not going to hurt at all. It's just going to be like annoyance. It's a definite eye-opener. Nobody gets paid until Biden submits a budget for review. The second bill is titled the Presidential Budget Accountability Act and freezes funds for travel. This would hinder Biden from moving around the world if the budget isn't solidified. Okay, that's how you really... Well, it's like the old joke. How do you... It's like the old joke. How do you cut off a cat's tail? Repossesses Harley. So if you think about that long and hard, it's like, oh yeah, dude ain't going to get no action because he ain't got no transportation. Well, that's pretty much going to be said for a politician too, is if you freeze him in place, well, obviously the budget would still be in place for his security or wartime efforts or, something along those lines. That would all be potentially imminently, one of those things that's absolutely possible. But the outstripping of all these other various, extracurricular activities that he could be doing, that kind of makes them notice. But you know what? The other thing, too, is also how much is Joe Kaka actually noticing in office right now? Because there's a couple brain cells up here, and they don't talk often. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. Shane Hutchinson, yeah, definitely the cooler king. The Great Escape, Steve McQueen. Absolutely. Patriot Fever, appreciate you coming on by, dude. Little Patriot Fever 3 reporting. So cool. So Representative Carter said, without an enforcement mechanism in place, budget deadlines are mere suggestions. Like households and businesses across the country, the United States government cannot function properly without a budget. Look no further than the $31 trillion in national debt for proof. We are not $31 trillion in debt. We are far outstripping that number. by, I cannot begin to tell you how much further. It is insane how much the United States owes right now. Insane. Hang on a second here. It's being a little squirrely on the Gab side of things. It's one of those things too. Is they block me on Facebook, and I just go over to Gab, and that's where I put all my my bookmarks. Scrolly. Hang on a second here. Lost my place. Got it back. Okay. There is a Twitter status that came up, and oh my stars and garters, I cannot begin to do this one justice. Oh wow. wow, and wow some more. Supposedly, I got to play this soundbite for you, and hopefully it projects kind of good. But I'm going to be cheating it like crazy, simply holding my tablet up to the microphone. So hopefully that goes. So literally, what this is Joe Biden, Joe Caw, complaining about his freedom.
Mr. Haney?
You can go that way. Either whatever you want. I notice how much freedom I have.
All right, that's a little hard to hear, so I probably just got to go to the transcription of it, and it'll make things just a bit better. Hang on a second, let me kill the volume here so I don't repeat play. Hang on, let me get out of that. And just simply go to the story. Again, from the patriotjournal.com. But supposedly Joe Caw was complaining, and now, of course, I can't find it because now, obviously, the thing's gone. Well, anyway, patriotjournal.com, basically, they had the story. Joe Caw was outside, maybe Rose Garden or something, and he's out there, he's jittering around. He's like, I want to go this way. And the Secret Service is like, no, sir, you have to go this way. He's like, well, I don't want to go that way. I don't ever get to go the way I want to go. And it's like, no, sir, we're all going this way. Can we go this way, please, sir? And it's like, all right. It was kind of one of these very uncomfortable scenes like that. And I simply cannot do it justice. But while I cannot begin to tell you how much it looked like, basically like the pissed off, recalcitrant little 4-year-olds is like, I don't want to go that way. No, Billy, we're going this way now. Come on, we'll go get ice cream. All right. It literally was a scene like that. Very striking. Very striking. Mitch McConnell, one of my absolute least favorite senatorial douche nozzles, shall I say. Well, this one also coming on patriotjournal.com. Mitch McConnell has betrayed by his own party after yanking midterm funding. The Alaska GOP votes to censure him. That's right. So basically what he's doing is he's playing it fast and loose with the funds to try to undercut some Republicans who are really pretty substantially conservative, and he's trying to redirect the funds to like Linda Murkowski. Murkowski's not even a Republican in Alaska any longer. She's been booted. Patriot Fever, Biden, bean muffins are this way. Are this way. We go this way. I was going to say probably more like ice cream, but sure. Come on, Mr. President, we have ice cream. What flavor? Oh, your favorite. Let's go this way now. So anyway, Mitch is basically getting slapped down by his own party because even Alaskans are getting tired of Washington-style rhino of any stripe of any house. This one I think is also blanking hilarious. Kind of a semi-related story. Excuse me, nose is acting up. This one coming in dailywire.com. Voters are not only enthusiastic, they're angry. Very angry, the polls find. No kidding. And, you got to remember, too, like your classic French Revolution, which was really not a good revolution, by the way. Just give me 1 second here. That whole Marie Antoinette let them eat cake thing. Now, if you guys know your historical references, we're not talking about like, yummy kind of cake with frosting on it and good stuff like that there. Oh, no. Cake was actually the stuff that was like the crud left on the baking surface of the oven floor that was then scraped off and kind of pitched to the side. And, that was like for the poor guys, they would get the cake. So basically what she was saying is, you can eat crap. I really don't care. I'm going to eat the boutique stuff because I'm so much better than you. Didn't work out so good for Marie Antoinette. No, I think pretty much she had a hard way to go when they said, you know what, we're going to storm the castle. And afterwards, it was just a bad case of you're out of here. So voters are mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore. That's very bad news for Democrats. Midterm elections usually draw fewer Americans to the polls, and happy people will sometimes skip them since they don't include a vote for president. But that is set to. Hang on a second here. Got pop-ups again. I hate when they do this stupid stuff. Pop-up videos. Look at our stupid ads. But that's set to change this time around. We know many voters will be, quote, we know that many voters will be casting ballots with anger on their minds. We just don't know which side they will be angrier. Think about it. Okay, I've been saying this to generically everybody around me. Now, here's the thing. Baltimore, Maryland is very, very blue. But here's the thing. Everybody's buying gas. Everybody's buying groceries. Everybody's dealing with higher prices. Everybody's dealing with stuff going, kablooey. That is not party definitive. That is not race definitive. That's not even like a demarcation of, oh, yeah, well, that guy on that side of the road is less affected than that guy on the other side of the road. No, everybody is grossly affected. It doesn't matter where you fall politically. Everybody is getting hit by the bad leadership, the incompetency, and the absolutely strident socialistic means of which the government is trying to do things, and it's screwing up the process. So those Cliven Pliven or whatever the hell it is, basically you crash the economy, then remake it into a socialist utopia. Look at Venezuela. That's the latest example. 20 years, they basically went from the most best countries to actually be in South America to a completely foobarred piece of hit. Yeah. So don't know which side would be anger. Democrat pollster Jeff Horwick of the Hart Research Associates told NBC News. Yeah, whatever. His poll conducted with Republican Bill McInturf and his team at Public Opinion Strategies contained some remarkable findings. The survey found that 70% of registered voters had a high interest in the election, either a 9 or a 10 on a 10-point scale. That is the highest percentage ever in a survey for a midterm election. Quote, it's an eye popper, end quote, said McInturf, who noted the number is higher than in 2018, which set a record turnout for a midterm election. What's more, Republicans are more jazzed than Democrats for the midterms. Among GOP voters, 78% of Republicans have high interest compared to 69% of Democrats, and Democrats almost always go lockstep towards the polls. So I think that they're not looking real good right now or going, oh, yeah, we can fix this. Yeah. Ever heard that line about the silent majority? Yeah, also now it's coming out to be that, Hispanics and blacks, who are traditionally the lockstep guys for the Democrats, guaranteed votes and all the rest of that stuff, are getting pretty pissed. And they're not thinking I'm going to keep continuing this stuff on. I'm actually swinging the lever towards the R this time. Yeah. So the GOP voter, 78% of Republicans high interest compared to 69%. If you do your math, that's 9% edge for Republicans. It's triple what the pollster survey said in September. The legacy media is doing all it can to pretend the 2022 midterms will be close. They won't be. Polls show Republican lead riding exponentially in a generic poll. 3% over Democrats in July, 6% in August, and 9% last month. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, Republican of Georgia, predicts a bloodbath. Quote, I would say we'll be between +3 and +7 in the Senate, and we'll be between 20 and plus 20 or +50 in the House, with most likely number being +44, Gingrich told Epic Times. The GOP needs just 5 seats to take the House and only 1 seat to take the Senate. Almost everywhere in the country, races are showing the Republicans tightening up, Gingrich said, noting that inflation, crime, border security, and woke policies are all coming together against the Democrats' favor. Quote, when you have the sort of insane left-wing Democrats who believe that you don't need prisons and things that can be dealt with just by being nice to murderers, I think the average person thinks that's just crazy, he said, pointing to the soaring crime and revolving door policies of New York City. Hochul right now is looking really not good so much with the other person that's running against him in New York State for the governorship. She's looking worse and worse and worse. And when they had a debate, she's like, why does everybody keep going on about crime? It's this, it's this kind of farcical thing everybody keeps tossing around. It's not a big deal. Crime's not that big a deal. You know, you guys keep going on about crime. Mostly because the crime rate in New York right now sucks. Yeah. And Gingrich said, quote unquote, abortion is not helping Democrats as much as they think. People actually think the Democrats are more extreme in their eagerness to kill babies than Republicans are in desire to save babies, he said. Their activists are so insane, so rabid, their activists are been giving so much money, it feels like a good issue for them. But when you go out in the country beyond the hard left of the Democrat Party, it's in fact not working for them at all. Okay, you talk to the average person and you go, yeah, man, these Republicans, they just want to take away abortion. And they go, I'm not getting an abortion anytime soon. Right now, I'm just trying to pay my bills. Yeah. So I'm saying here, on my own terms, you socialists have pushed too hard. Yeah. I cannot begin to tell you what a train wreck this one is. I'm going to just simply say, ha 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 ha, desperation. PatriotJournal.com. Kamala and Joe Kaka just exposed their midterm desperation. They're actually making a joint appearance in the campaign for Fetterman. I don't know if you guys caught that last one where, Fetterman was just kind of like, hello, everybody. Good night. I want to tell you a few things that I stand is like, dude, are you coming, going, or which way are you going on with? He's pretty much having like, congenital issues. Even if the dude is like fully there mentally, you have to be able to elucidate those things that you're pulling out of your brain pan to try to pose to the public. Okay, if you're just spitting out gibberish, it's not going to fly. You're really stuck on that hammer thing. Anyway, it's no secret that Democrats are trying to keep Joe and Kamala as far away as possible. Democrats are so scared of what Biden might do to hurt their chances. White House staff won't even let White House staff won't even let reporters ask the man questions. Biden and his quote-unquote Vice President Kamala have not been on the campaign trail. Their appearance with the candidate might remind voters of Biden's dismal failure to keep America together. So how badly does a candidate have to be doing to need someone as hated as Biden to boost his image? Wow. As bad as John Fetterman. This is coming from The Hill. Democrats betting that President Biden and Vice President President Harris can put the Democrat Senate hopeful John Fetterman over the top. Despite a faltering debate performance that has more operatives more worried than ever, he could be losing the pivotal race. Really? What? Well, okay, whatever, sound guy. While hypothetic, John Fetterman doomed his already close race with Republican Amendment Oz with his horrendous debate performance. All the Pennsylvania saw that the Democrat was really what he was, a sick man who's not recovered from his summer stroke. Signs point him to losing. The Democrats are desperate. So the geniuses are running the campaign and looking for the two worst leaders in America to save him. Other Democrats don't want Joe or Kamala anywhere near them, but both these morons will be campaigning for Fetterman. I guess even Joe sounds better than this. Oh, man. But not by much. Both Biden and Harris are terrible public speakers. Biden suffers what appears to be mental decline, and Harris, although a relatively young woman, cannot finish her sentence. Her word salads are embarrassing as Biden's gaffes, but yet both of them sound like Harvard scholars compared to Fetterman, who opened the debate with, hello, good night, everyone. Seems like a huge risk to rely on Biden to prop Fetterman. Biden's approval in the South is 40% recent polls, or is south of 40%, with disapproval in the mid to high 50s. Americans are hardly motivated against Biden and his party as inflation and high gas prices hammer their pocketbooks. Something tells me all three of them are on stage will be a disaster. Oh, man, there's no other way to say it but what it's saying. But, man, I got to tell you what, that is really just, well, it's really bad, okay? There's no other way to say it. Those guys get on there, and it's just, yeah, just. Yeah, putting those guys together, it's just, well, no. Indeed, it is definite no.
Snoo!
No, it's not snoo.
Death!
Okay, I'll allow that. Death by wee. I'll allow that one, okay? No, I'll allow it. It's good. Cool. Yeah, we're fine there, sound guy. Okay. Yeah. In the room, Chase Horse. Chase. Maybe the three of them can form a half complete sentence. Favorite fever. Wow. None of you guys heard about this one or not, but Mark Zuckerberg's butt puckering continues. It wasn't enough that he's lost half his wealth. Literally, he's like had the largest one-day loss of any person, corporation, entity, call it what you will, on the stock market ever. I heard it was charitably somewhere in excess of 60 to 70 billion in one day. Let's give me 1 second here. Coming in from truthpress.com. Oh, the hits keep coming, folks. A Washington state judge on Wednesday fined Facebook parent company Meta, M-E-T-A, Meta. I would just say mega morons, but for nearly 25 million with an M for repeatedly and intentionally violating campaign finance disclosure law, what's believed to be the largest campaign finance penalty in U.S. history. The penalty was issued by King County Superior Court Judge Douglas North. It was the maximum allowed for more than 800 violations of Washington's Fair Campaign Practices Act, passed by voters in 1972 and later straightened by the legislature. Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson argued that the maximum was appropriate, considering his office previously sued Facebook in 2018 for violating the very same law. I think it could be safe to say that Zuckerberg really just hasn't learned not to do these things, okay? It could be pretty much just said that, well,
that's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
And when you get to the situation that they're in, I think what it is these judges are just looking at him and going, you know what?
I say we take off and nuke the entire bitch for more of it.
Pretty much. Oh, man. Meta, based in Menlo Park, California, did not immediately respond to the email seeking comment. Washington's transparency law requires an ad sellers such as Meta to keep and make public the names and addresses of those who buy political ads, their targets of such ads, and how the ads were paid for, and the total number of views of each ad. Ad sellers must also provide the information anyone asks of it. Television stations and newspapers have complied with the law for decades. But Meta has repeatedly objected to the requirements, arguing unsuccessfully in courts that the law is unconstitutional because it, quote, unduly burdens political speech, end quote, and is, quote, virtually impossible to fully comply with. No, Zuckerberg. If you know exactly how many times people fart and do annoyingly obnoxious things that you don't like, and you basically look at their numbers on any type of the metadata, you know, by and large, you pretty much could just figure it out down to the very last digit. So when it comes right down to it, Zuckerberg, it won't work, okay? While Facebook does keep an archive of political ads that run on the platform, the archive does not disclose all the information required under Washington's law. And since Facebook operates in Washington state, they can enforce how they operated in Washington state, and they can basically stick them hard, well, all the way and make them pay. Quote, I have one word for Facebook's conduct in the case: arrogance, end quote. Ferguson said in a news release. Quote, it was intentionally disregarded Washington's election transparency laws, and that wasn't enough. Facebook argued in court that those laws should be declared unconstitutional. That's breathtaking. Where's the corporate responsibility? In 2018, Ferguson's first lawsuit, Facebook agreed to pay $238,000 and committed to transparency in campaign finance and political advertising. It subsequently said it would stop selling political ads in the state rather than comply with the requirements. Nevertheless, the company continued selling political ads, and Ferguson sued again in 2020. Quote, Meta was aware that its announced ban would not and did not stop with all the advertising that's continued to be displayed on its platform. North wrote last month, finding that Meta violations were, quote, unquote, intentional. Each violation of the law is typically punishable by up to $10,000, but penalties can be tripled if the law finds them intentional. North fined Meta $30,000 for each of the 822 violations about $24.7 million. Ferguson described the fine as the largest campaign finance-related penalty ever issued in the United States. Meta, one of the world's richest corporations, reported quarterly earnings Wednesday of $4.4 billion or $1.64 per share on revenue of nearly $28 billion in that 3-month period that ended in September 30. Mr. Zuckerberg. This week on Internet Cops, Facebook gets roughshod in the alleyway and gets a bad case of, well, more than a little bit of... Yeah, I think they got not quite what they wanted of...
Death! By Shoo-Shoo!
Oh, no. They got... Yeah, they $28 million, and that's just one state. There's 49 more to go. Keep playing the games, man. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. You tend to think bodybuilders, pretty much are like total health freaks. They tend to do very, very healthy things, except for shooting in the juice, the anabolic steroids and all the rest of that stuff. But there was a guy by the name of Andreas Frey, and I do mean was, as in past tense. Supposedly died in his sleep on October 20th at the age of 43. Representative Frey's nutrition company confirmed the bodybuilder's death by posting a tribute to the star on Facebook alongside a photograph of him. Now, I've been doing a series of stories like this where you have somebody 30s, 40s, not quite 50s, basically keeling over and attaining dirt nap status. And I'm saying, get used to seeing these kinds of stories. Yeah. So that's where we are right now with that kind of stuff. Get used to seeing those kinds of stories, because possibly we're dealing with more than a little bit of the, claw shots. Oh, no. It's even worse than that, sound guy. We're talking about the Chinese Communist COVID virus infection. Claw shots. Yes. So, you start having all the carditis and all the other various things, and potentially it was a problem with the Chinese Communist COVID virus infection. But if you survive that and you didn't get the claw shots, potentially you have your own immunity. You don't have to worry about the Chinese Communist COVID virus infection. But if you did get the claw shots, potentially you could just be cucked. I found this one, and I cannot begin to tell you how hilarious I find this one to be. But of all people, of course, Elon Musk, being as wealthy that he is, bought Twitter, and now he finally is now finalizing the deal. And of course, he's duking out the guys. They're basically causing all the mayhem, and he's cleaning house, and he's actually doing something I thought was very, very interesting. You have some seriously scary, smart guys. Obviously, the Falcon Heavy just flew. Great design, man. That thing's going to be epic. That's actually the heaviest rocket that's ever flown, and that thing flew without a missive. No issues at all. Semi-recyclable. It is a great rocket. But anyway, his brain trust, those scary, smart guys that actually design rockets and software and all the rest of that fun stuff, he's got those guys picking apart the code in Twitter to find out how the algorithms work and to adjust them in such a way that they don't do something untoward. Yeah, so much so that the Hollywood elites are panicking, vowing to quit Twitter over the Elon Musk takeover. I'm out of here. Well, if you're going to be that out of here, why don't you go and just simply go up to Canada like you said you were going to? You said you were going to roll out, and, it's basically how you said things are going to be. I don't think I got caught up on this one, but today's, when you go on Google and it's like, the little stupid Google graphics pop up and it's like, hi, we're celebrating a Western butt scratching day, and, interpretive dance with basket weaving, sea urchins stuffing and whatever. So Google's now running this lame leftist cause celeb to celebrate and looking to be more highbrow and, no more than you, self-indulgent elitists. They pulled a barely noteworthy, obscure item that really not that many people know about. But what did they put on there today? Indigenous American stickball. I'm going to translate that as other than white guys baseball league, and could it possibly be that they ran out of minorities to thrust in everybody's faces and for November? Wow, just wow. This one, of course, being very, very interesting and coming in from RepublicanDaily.com. Key data from the Wall Street Journal poll spells doom for the Democrats. Brief period of time over the summer, the Democrats saw a little bump in their overall polling numbers and a slight momentum shift in their direction in the aftermath of the Supreme Court ruling in the overture of Roe v. Wade. Their hopes and dreams of a comeback of sorts ahead of the critical midterm elections collided with some brutal reality checks. For starters, President Joe Kaka's approval numbers came crashing to earth. Independent voters reasserted themselves, with Biden hitting new lows among key voting bloc, with independents also expressing disapproval with his emphasis on abortion over kitchen table items like inflation and the economy, both of which have consistently been shown to be the biggest priorities for most voters, especially the closer we get to Election Day. Oh, I fixed gas prices. I got in the office. It was $5 a gallon. Now it's $3.39. No, dumbass. When you got in the office, it was towing like 2 and change. Now it's $3.39, but it's spiked up to $5. But by you kicking out the petroleum reserve, the only thing you're doing there is you're emptying out our fuel reserves that are a very finite amount. And also, when Trump put his quantity in, per barrel price was way less than what we're paying per barrel now. And when you finally can't tap that anymore, oh, yeah, our gas prices are going to go shooting through the roof. We have about a 25-day supply of diesel fuel. And when those guys actually have to park their trucks because there's no fuel, guess what happens to all the stuff in the stores? There ain't none. Stores are a virtual warehouse. Translation, it's not like the good old days where they had stuff in the back to put up on the shelves. No, everything that's on the floor is everything the store has that day. And they have trucks come in every single day to replenish that which is gone. Yeah. Quote, unquote, unquote, unquote. There's also been a continuing Hispanic exodus from the Democratic Party, which in growing numbers was approving of the woke direction the party's taken in recent years. Neither looks to be changing anytime soon. But the new development sure to send Democrats strategists to the full-blown political panic with just 1 week to go before voters head to the polls. Fresh polling from the Wall Street Journal shows a massive swing among suburban white women from Democrats to Republican in a roughly 2-month time frame. Wow. Because if you think about it, the way politicians tend to think is they tend to think like, oh, yeah, independents and white, suburbanites. That's our voting bloc. And what has the Democrat Party been doing? They've been absolutely trying to squelch, crush, and defund the middle class. Yeah, bad stuff. Patriot Fever says more like a 15-day supply of diesel. Yeah, that's good. Now, if you're running an old school diesel and you have it set up for such with like the proper hoses and whatnot, if the temperature doesn't get too low, you can do something called black diesel. That's where you literally take waste oil, filter it, and then run a 50-50 mix of waste oil and diesel fuel. And those old diesel engines, they run just fine on it. Transmission fluid, they run just fine on it. Newer diesels, if you do that, you destroy the fuel pump, you destroy the lifter pump, you destroy sensors out the gazots, and you grenade the engine because it is not made to run on anything but diesel fuel. And also, oh yeah, it needs to have DEF because it needs to fart tulips out the tailpipe. Scroll. I know you probably have heard about this a little bit, but supposedly now there's documents that have been leaked that are exposing big tech has been colluding with the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. I'm just going to leave that one in. That one, just for what it's worth, your faith will be, in the undeserved will be your undoing. And truly, these guys need to be just booted unceremoniously. There's now a poll out that shows Brian Kemp is now leading Stacey Abrams by 7 points in the Georgia governor's race. If there's ever a hateful looking, just blech kind of person, that's Stacey Abrams. Truly. And every time she said anything that was, publicly stated, she usually says it wrong. Yeah. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one, but supposedly Bubba Wallace, the one guy that drives in NASCAR, who pretty much he probably could put a Black Lives Matter sticker on his car, and it would be allowed because you can't fly the Confederate flag any longer. That was banned in 2020. But oh yeah, they become so inclusive now in NASCAR that they don't want to offend anybody. Well, that guy walked out in the field, and as he was announced, and the crowd booed him soundly after he came back from his first race after being suspended, stepping on the field. Everybody was like, "No, we don't like you. We didn't like you, and then we really, really don't like you because, well, you're just a whiny little non-driving dirtbag, and stop. Just stop, okay?" This one I found completely hilarious, but a fully and B ooh Stead CDC director tests positive for, well, that's right. CDC director Rochelle Walensky on Sunday tested positive for, again in a rebound case after taking Paxlovid, fully and boo Stead. Wednesday tested positive again for the the only thing I got is I think that the bug just thinks she's just delicious and won't leave. I need to come up with something like a Hong Kong Phooey kind of a thing, It's like the Hong Kong Phooey. Yeah, I should come up with something like that. The Chinese Communist covert viral infection, Hong Kong Phooey, bong. Anyway, this one I find to be really remarkable. Supposedly, there's now a toss-up, which is code. It's code for, oh crap, the Republicans are looking way better than we ever truly gave them credit for, and we really truly don't like what's going on here. Man, my nose is just itching like crazy. Anyway, the state of Washington is now showing itself as a toss-up. Longtime Senator plummets. The race is now a toss-up in Washington State. Democrat Pat Murray has been in Washington seat for 3 decades, but prior to this week, Real Clear Politics projection looked like she continued to hold the seat for a lot longer. However, Republican challenger Tiffany Smiley has been on a tear in recent weeks, and now the polls show that she's caught up with her opponent. Ooh, this is interesting. Multiple surveys come to the race via virtual tie, despite the fact that Murray held a healthy lead for most of 2022. The important Senate contest is now up for grabs. Via the Daily Wire, Real Clear Politics changed the Senate prediction for Washington Senate seat Sunday from leans Dem to toss-up. Now, toss-up to me translates as, oh crap, the Republican might just win this. Oh crap, the Republican really looks like it's going to win this. Oh crap, the Republican's probably going to win this. Oh crap, the Republican really looks like it's going to win this. The move comes as 2 poll shows Republican challenger Tiffany Smiley tied with incumbent Democrat Patty Murray. Now, here's the thing. How many of the times are these guys taking these polls and you're absolutely honest saying, oh yeah, I really truly intend to pull that lever for the Democrats every single time because those King Republicans, oh, I hate them. Yeah, I'm going to keep pushing the button for the Democrats. Yeah. So the poll shows the Murray's overall favorability rating has fallen -3 points, so 44 to 48%, while Smiley's maintained a net favorability of 44 to 41%. I tend to think that they do this underrating thing, and they tend to do like this really charitably kind of circular way of just like oversampling the wrong guys. Yeah. I'm going to have to clean this one up, obviously, because, Facebook being Facebook, but YouTube being YouTube for sure. But Hollywood actress Elizabeth Banks on NPR. Abortion is our society's insurance policy for easy sex. So I guess she insists that being a slut is easy with infanticide. This one I think is hilarious. Democrats are kirking out completely, and they've just abandoned Florida. They're screaming Memeites going out of the state. We can't win this. We can't win this. Where's everybody going from the blue states? They're going to the red states because they're tired of being squoze and completely hosed. Another one of those get used to seeing this happen. 38-year-old heart doctor dies from undisclosed reason of death. Want to bet that she got the, well, and it was that knocked her down? Yeah. So, Lauren Gray Gilstrap, MD, MPH, Dartmouth, Hitchcock Medical Center, Lebanon, New Hampshire, an advanced heart disease and cardiac transplant physician and researcher, died October 21 of undisclosed causes. Wonder if it wasn't just a bad case of, because when you have a doctor of that age, they're pretty up on their own health. Yeah, I think that's kind of, bizarre in that regard. I'm going to call it what it is. It strikes me as unusual, as it were. So let's see. We get back out of this. Make that one sleep. And as an added attraction today, I'm going to go through and I want to go through and read up on a magazine I've had for a while. And this just seems like one of these ones I thought would be very interesting to, go through. They say 46 survival skills that help you stay alive in the backyards, in the backcountry, and everywhere in between. There's an older issue. So this one is a issue of Outdoor Life dating from April 2017, but it's been in my stack of stuff, to use the Rush Limbaugh line. It's been in my stack of stuff, and I've been wanting to pull it out and, actually, utilize some of the, new nuances and knowledge and good stuff like that there. So let's just do a quick run through and see if we can't figure it out. They put on the peepers here so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so tech tip for, survival. Build a PVC cache. Okay, that's really just kind of stupid. Stuff and essentials, stash it somewhere safe but handy. Okay, I find that really kind of stridently stupid because the best way to have your stuff is to have your stuff. That would either be the SHTF bag. That would be your get home bag. That would be potentially like you can't see it behind my my snake flag there, but I have a backpack that I refer to as my gig bag. And it literally is like stuff that I need when I'm working with the bands and I'm doing a show. It's stuff that I know I'm potentially going to need. Is there survival goods in there? Possibly. You could possibly, tweak a couple things, switch a couple things around. And potentially, you could use them as that. I mean, I do have the doppelganger in there. I would jokingly refer to this as the monster. I mean, I do have my standard daily driver phone, but I have a backup phone. Now, the thing about it is this one is an absolute doppelganger for this phone that I currently daily drive. Major difference is way more memory. Potentially, you could actually even say this thing is like almost like a baby laptop because it is almost a 1T smartphone. Scads a room, just the ability to just stuff videos and all kinds of information. And the dirty little secret is if you have the stuff, you can use the stuff because it's in the phone. And you go, well, dude, what about if that thing dies? Battery pack. This thing is like, oh, geez, how big was this guy? I forget what it was. I remember I bought it before one trip because I needed a battery backup. But this thing is 20,000 milliamps. So essentially, it will recharge this phone 4 or 5 times from dead to full. Would be completely the fastest thing on the planet in the process? Probably not, but it will do it. Just give me a second here. I got a couple things popping up. Hang on. I got a couple things popping up. So me accepting work, okay? Sorry. Give me my lead. Give me my lead. All right. So anyway, the other thing too is also, if you got the stuff with you, you got the stuff with you. You can use it at the time in which you need it. Cue up the Pretender song around. Oh man, yeah. The stack of stuff. Okay, I'm obviously not him, but obviously, uh, sound guy. You know, you really kind of milk that one just a little bit too much sometimes. Anyway, so Maharashi, in absence, we still revere you, sir. Okay, so basically, I want to say have the stuff with you, not in like some stash area. It's like, oh no, I got to get to this to get to that. No, have the stuff with you. Okay, having a stash. No, that's in the perfect world. You get to the stuff. Number 2, protect from freezing with found insulation. Okay, well, that's just common sense. If you're going to bed down somewhere, easiest shelter on the planet, and I do mean absolute easiest shelter on the planet, is you find yourself a pine tree. You basically pop some branches, you build yourself a further teepee around it, stack the snow leaves and what have you, throw a whole bunch of leaves on the ground underneath it. That way you have your little enclave in which to put yourself in. You don't have to build anything because the tree's right there. Usually it's a good windbreak or good enough windbreak. If you build a small enough fire, the smoke will be dissipated through the tree. You won't be breathing it so much. Obviously, it won't be airtight, so you won't have to worry about asphyxiation. Number 3, tie a sheet bend knot. I just do a square knot. There's no reason in the world why you got to do something like that. A sheet bend knot essentially is basically the same thing as a square knot, okay? If you learn 3 or 4 good knots, that's really all you need. Make fire starters. Okay, the cheapest, easiest fire starter on the planet you got as a ready source anywhere on the planet, okay? The easiest recipe I could ever show you for any fire starter is probably going to be dryer lint, okay? If you really truly want to go even crazier than that, petroleum jelly and a Q-tip. You basically get a fire starter. This thing will burn for like 5 minutes. Easy. Get the petroleum jelly, basically incorporate it in the cotton, light it off. That thing will burn long time. It'll be a really good fire starter. And oh no, if you need more, simply just bend it in half. Basically, then you got 2 to basically play fire starter. Also, that is paper or cardboard or plastic, so it's consumable. No problem. The other thing that you could use for a fire starter in your house, you got a ready source. It's called dryer lint. You mix dryer lint with baby oil or petroleum jelly, that sucker will burn for a long time, especially if it's got a lot of cotton in there. It'll burn a long time. Let's see. Number 5, makeshift tinder items. I kind of just covered that. Making a shave stick and all the rest of that fun stuff. Yeah, that's all great. But, there's other things that burn pretty good. Heat your home, turn stones into heaters during cold weather power outage. Rocks. Okay. You ask anybody, if you're picking up rocks, you don't get rocks by the water. Why? Because there's moisture in air, and steam is possibly one of the second best explosions around, next to a chemical explosion. Failing that, don't use quartz. Quartz is a compressed rock that when you put it under heat, it potentially explodes. Don't use quartz in that regard. You want the rocks that are near the river, but not in the river. You want the round rocks that are about the size of your fist. Perfectly good. Wash them off, get them clean. Throw them in the fire. All the bougies are dead. You're not going to get any nasties off of that. Maybe a little bit of ash, and you can eat that. It's fine. I would not do that. I would simply just use a secondary heating version, propane heater, something along those lines. Make sure you have a CO2 sensor in your house. I actually have a CO2 sensor in my house in the main hallway upstairs from the fireplace. So it's basically, no, not really upstairs, but it's in direct line with the fireplace, where if it's throwing anything out there, it will detect it. If it's taking anything off the furnace or the gas heater in the basement, it will detect it. Okay. It screams and yells, carbon monoxide, carbon monoxide. You're good. Number 7, packaged dry goods last for 30 years. Okay, considering the fact that you really just simply go out to the store, this is beyond ignorant in some regards. There is nothing that you're going to pack better than the professionals are going to pack in their stuff, okay? Freeze-dried, that thing will sit for 30 years. Only thing you got to do is add water, okay? Perfectly fine, ready to go. Maybe not the most nutritionally balanced thing, but you know what? If you're hungry, you need to keep on rocking, it'll keep you going, okay? Personally, I prefer some of the other stuff, but this stuff has been used for a long time by the military, tested, found effective, and continues to work. Number 8, make a survival slingshot. That's just lame. Just bring an air rifle, okay? That's all you need to do. You can have an air rifle, and case in point, folks. What is this? This is like 200 pellets, about the size of it's not even that. It's like what, 60 millimeters, and it basically is about a centimeter thick. That's a couple hundred rounds of ammo, and it'll do the deed. Okay, if you basically zap a few squirrels, you got food. Okay, negligible carry. Air rifles basically don't need to buy ammunition for, because you just pump it up, stick something in the barrel, bang. Let's see. Number 11, make a solar still. These have been so overwritten. Completely. Oh yeah, it's the best way to survive on the desert island. You simply dig down till you find moist soil, hang down the piece of plastic, put a rock in the middle. It'll gather the water with the sun and blah blah blah. And this. No, your best bet to simply do that correctly is you wish to boil the salt water, or boil the water that you find, and then condense the salt water into non-salt water, or the crap that you're finding that potentially you never want to drink without treating. You boil that for 20 minutes. There is no boogies left in there at all. Trust me on that one. There's no boogies. And if you do get sick, by the time you get sick, hopefully you'll be rescued at that point. So there's also that thinking where you just drink the water supply. And if you get sick in 4 days, hopefully you've been found by 4 days. If not, you better stock up on your Imodium AD, because, well, you're going to have problems. You're going to be loading the ass bazooka. Let's see. Making jerky. Well, that's pretty easy. You simply just air dry it over a fire. No flies, no nothings. Or you just cook it. Okay? Come on. Get caught napping. Basically nap your... If you got decent... Okay. If you carry either a sheath knife or a locking blade knife and a standard pocket knife, you'll do fine, okay? You really don't need to do all this. Wow, we're going to repeat the scene that they did in The Hunted where, dude is like knocking out a rock knife. It's a great skill to have, but are you really going to use it? Probably not if you're properly supplied and you have, your OS bag, and I do mean OS hit bag, or, your get home bag or your SHTF bag. If you have all that stuff, you don't need to go and play, primitive man making stuff by what the stuff that you find. Let's see. Tripod water filter. It just basically sounds like you're stacking a bunch of crap to filter in a bunch of crap to make more crap. Just boil the water after letting the sediment sink to the bottom of your containers. Wet weather fire tricks. Pretty much pine. Sharpen a knife with a rock. Yeah, try that with modern steels. Most modern steels, you really pretty much should have a diamond stone with you. The DMT or the other guys, the fold-up style of diamond stones, no reason in the world you should not have at least 2 with you at any one time. One being coarse, one being fine. If you get a really buggered up edge, you start with the coarse, then you work to the fine. By the time you're done, your knife is maybe not shaving sharp, and I never really go shaving sharp. I always go to the point where it's just starting to shave, and that's where I stop, simply because at that point, I know there's still some tooth on the edge. If you go with the classic line of thinking, a hacksaw will always outcut a razor blade, simply because it's got the teeth to start cutting. If you have a razor blade, it's just going to be playing Melancholy Baby on something, and it's not going to dig in at all. And the only thing you're going to do there is just roll the edge because it's too sharp. It won't do it, okay? Let's see. Scroll. Pine gum salve draws infection, splinters, and other nasties from your skin. Just pick the splinters out. Don't put crap on your skin like that. Char cloth is good if you have a container to make it. There's other stuff to use to actually start fires. You don't have to do this secondary process of char cloth and everything. Yeah, it really looks cool in YouTube videos. There's easier tinder to be had. Trust me. Jumpstart a fire. D battery, dry tinder. Using a gum wrapper to start a fire. Whatever. Looking for cambium, the bark inside the trees. I'd rather just get some protein. Liquid fuel with no regulator broken when the pressurizer, you're not in luck. Pour the fuel in an old drinker can. Add dirt, absorb fuel, slow evaporation, made the fuel. Dude, you're really kind of thinking outside the box. 550 cord, obviously. Contractor grade trash bags, yeah, obviously. Steel canteen. No, I would say probably a plastic canteen because they tend to hold up quite a bit better to basically, being banged around. They don't take dents as easy. They're way more impactability. And the other thing too is also, you use your pot or your drinking cup for your boiling. Okay, the most utilitarian thing you'd ever possibly could have would be the stainless steel drinking cup because you can boil stuff in it. Yes, and if you have one of those good setups that actually has the water bottle that encloses itself in the drinking cup, it just works better, okay? Then you go, oh, how do I get the soot off the outside? Grab a handful of wet sand. It takes it right off. Give it a quick swish. It's clean. Done. Treating a gunshot wound. If you're getting shot, you're doing entirely the wrong thing, okay? You're way too close to somebody else, and you are in trouble. Improvise a tourniquet. Well, anybody's former military knows that one. Basically, the handkerchief, couple of spins, tie it on. You better find medical help within, a while because a few hours, you're killing whatever that thing's tied onto, and then potentially you're killing the guy in a day. Amputate your own limb. Really? Suturing a wound. Okay, I'm going to do this one with the most particularly disgusting color possible, but I'm going to do it like this. Duct tape. Duct tape is probably one of the best things ever for enclosing a wound. What you do is basically cut yourself a piece, looks like basically like a butterfly bandage where it's thin in the middle over the wound and wide on the outsides. And what you do is you basically pull the wound shut, stick it down, put some cloth over that, and then wrap it, preserving your wound status. Or if you want to really go wild and crazy, put some plastic over it with some Neosporin or something along those lines, then put another bandage on there. Don't start suturing yourself. That's too much like watching Rambo or something, Oh, I'm just going to use a fish hook and fishing line and it will work. But trust me, all the crap that's on fishing line and all the crap that's on fish hooks, you're threading that crap into the wound and you're making an infection happen. And you better know what you're doing if you're suturing anybody up because potentially if you're going too deep, you're sticking, veins or arteries or nerves and everything goes wrong on that one. It's much, much easier simply to fixate and close the wound from the outside. Escape a horse wreck. Well, horses, you better know what you're doing on a horse anyway. Drink from a barrel cactus. Okay, that is possibly, this guy really truly does not know what the blank he is talking about, okay? If it was me and I was talking about myself, would you stop that?
Saracana.
Stop. Stop. Drinking from a cactus. Most cactus are alkaline to the point where if you drink it, you're more dehydrated, you're sick, and it's not doing anything good for your guts. Don't do that. Prickly pears, that if you know specifically what you're going for and the proper cactus, you can eat prickly pears. However, that is still something you're probably going to need some water to wash down because they are not like, oh, I'm just going to eat this watermelon. They are not that kind of fruit at all. Trust me in that regard. Let me see. Scrolly. Spin sinew into string. Well, considering that you can just simply carry a couple rolls of button thread, that I would use for suturing a wound because you can take that stuff, polyester especially, drown it in alcohol, let it sit for a little while before you even think of threading that thing through your body. And I have done that myself. I've actually stitched up a couple of good nicks I put on myself before. That actually does work. No infection issues whatsoever. And the source coming off the spool will be cleaner than a piece of fishing line and a fish hook that you go, well, it's not so rusty. Yeah, that's good enough. Just thread that on through. No, do not do that to yourself if you can avoid it. Best thing you possibly could have in your kit would be a medical staple gun. That would be the way to do it. You take that sucker, basically clean your wound up as much as possible. Click, 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 click. They're not going to be pretty. You're going to be Frankensteined out, but it will close up. And after 6 or 7 days, you pop the staples out and you have a closure of a wound with very superficial amounts of other secondary injuries. How do I know? Well, I had a set of railroad tracks going across my abdomen when they did my appendix. Not the most fun to get them taken out, but they did work. Okay. Turning trash into treasure, clean out a glass bottle, a metal can to sterilize water, place containers of ashes, start a fire, or start a fire. Once bubbles start to jump, let the water boil for at least 5 minutes, completely disinfect it. No, and no. Don't suspend glass over the fire. Intense heat can break it. Okay, that depends on the kind of glass. If you're talking like a food grade jar, well, that was actually autoclaved to cook the food inside further and kill off any bougies. That is heat capable. Beer bottles, on the other hand, also known as your classic brown or clear bottles, wrong kind of glass. They will break like that. Water bottles can actually be suspended over a fire as long as it's full of water. The only thing you're going to do is you're going to melt the plastic a little bit, but the bottle itself will never fail. The water will boil out first. Then it'll go dry. Then it'll basically burn off. But the problem is that plastic is not intended to be cooked. So you might be putting BPAs or secondary BPAs or whatever the crap that they still have in there that you're not supposed to inhale, drink, eat, whatever. That's the kind of crap you're putting in solution. So don't do it long term, but it will save your bacon. Make salt water potable, distill it. Come on, that's not hard. Making a minnow trap, yeah, whatever. Brew, glue, make a bow. Signal for help without text. Signal fires, whistles, and ground to air signals. It's called a mirror. Excuse me. Does this light reflect? Hello? Yeah. Basically, line of sight, shining on dude. Hello, helicopter. Hello, plane. Come on. Not hard. Come on. Building a duff bed, like I said, basically make a pile of leaves. Catching fish. Most of the time, you could basically just trap them. Repurpose an arrow. Avoiding piss poor judgment. No matter what you hear on the TV, don't drink your own urine. Oh, yeah, but you can use it for other things, okay? Making use of bear fat. Oh, absolutely, man. Just walk right up to the bear. Excuse me, Mr. Bear. I'd like to borrow just a little bit of bear fat. Can you hang on 1 second here? Just want to snip out just a little piece. There you go. Now, if you're in dire straits, how the blank are you going to get a hold of bear fat? Never mind the fact you even see a bear. The bear just goes, human, and runs. This guy really, truly, I cannot. Okay, but it's three guys: Conrad Allen, Tim McWelch, and Aram Van Benedict. No. No. There's a lot of really, like armchair kind of BS here that these guys really truly don't know what they're talking about and will probably potentially hurt you in the process. Use about maybe like 5% of that, okay? Looking at stuff in the room now. I got a couple of people hanging out with me. I appreciate your kind attentions. I think it's time for me to break off, and I truly, truly appreciate your time you guys spent with me tonight. I know you got many other things to do, but you get a gold star for attendance, and I truly appreciate your kind attentions. Many other things to do, I guess, but you guys decided to spend it with me. So I appreciate your kind indulgences, and I will catch you guys later. Next week, good stuff like that there. And I guess we'll just move out smartly. So catch you guys next week. And eat good, keep thundering as always, you know you love it. And I'll see you guys next time. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And I will see you guys later. See ya.